The smoke has cleared and the platform is deserted. Stoward's last passenger left the waiting room in 1930. This used to be an outpost on Northumberland's former Allendale branch. Now it caters for holidaymakers, offering a window on times past. But the outlook from the garden is destined to present more concrete if Highways England gets its way.
We were enjoying so much.
The adjacent stone-arched bridge carrying a minor road over the former trackbed could soon be infilled, one of 115 such schemes proposed nationwide. 15 other structures are threatened with demolition and almost 500 could follow. In some cases, the state-owned roads company is attempting to impose its will by invoking permitted development powers which don't require planning permission. That was the case here, and the station owners are not happy.
The way they're doing it is just morally wrong, and it was something that we thought we had to do something about and try and do our best to stop it. There's been a couple of inspections, visual inspections as far as I know, and nothing's been raised from them. There's no danger of it falling down. Fundamentally, it's just a great structure that should be preserved, because the more things that like this which gets infilled or demolished or removed, you can't replace things like this.
The bridge remains in good condition and is showing no signs of distress, but a structural assessment in 2009 rated it as suitable only to carry 18 tonnes. So, last September, Highways England told Northumberland County Council that the structure presents an ongoing and increasing risk to public safety and is going to be infilled to prevent an emergency arising.
The HRE Group, an alliance of engineers, cycling campaigners and greenway developers, accuse Highways England of acting disproportionately and failing to consider the impact of their actions on the nation's railway heritage and its potential to play future transport roles. An appraisal by the group suggests that around 1/3 of the 115 structures earmarked for infilling could be repurposed as part of cycle routes, reopened railways or extensions to heritage lines. Kirby Stephen East Station in Cumbria opened in 1861 as part of Thomas Boucher's magnificent South Durham and Lancashire Union Line. It's cared for now by volunteers from the Stainmore Railway Company. Currently, they have just 500 yards of track, but they share the aspiration of the Eden Valley Railway, 5 miles further up the old trackbed, to unite the two operations and bring greater economic benefit to the area. But threatening that plan is Highways England's intention to infill a bridge at Great Musgrave, blocking the connecting route. A structural assessment in 1998 found it to be suitable only for vehicles less than 17 tonnes. The company says that infilling the structure is considered necessary to prevent further deterioration and remove the risk of future collapse. At a meeting with the railway to discuss the issue, a Highways England engineer estimated the cost of that work at £200,000, whereas strengthening to increase the bridge's capacity would cost just £40,000. But the policy is to infill.
This is very worrying for us because it would be like putting, well, literally a concrete block in the way of our ambitions and almost could scupper our whole operation. I mean, for the last 20 years, we have been working hard to re-establish Kirby Stephen East as our work base, and Warcop have been working hard their end to get to Appleby. But all of a sudden, that could be just thrown in the bin overnight because a bridge gets blocked.
Highways England's infilling and demolition programme affects 3 planned heritage line extensions, together with a proposed railway reopening in West Wales and 2 others in England. One of these, the Penrith-Keswick line in the Lake District, has applied for financial help from the government's Restoring Your Railway Fund. 2 bridges on its route are being infilled, one was completed recently. Although arches are being provided for through access, drawings suggest these aren't big enough to accommodate trains. More immediate impact will be felt by community groups seeking to repurpose former track beds as walking and cycle routes. The government is committing £2 billion to encourage more of us to embrace active travel, in part by building thousands of miles of protected bike lanes. But proposals for 8 new paths are now in doubt as a result of planned infilling schemes. One route heads west from historic Alnwick in Northumberland, passing beneath two at-risk bridges built in the 1880s. Infilling plans submitted in April 2020 were opposed by the local civic society and a rambling group. So, 5 months later, Highways England told the local authority that the work would be going ahead under permitted development powers, again to prevent an emergency arising. The company claims that this bridge at Rugley is in poor condition and infilling is the most appropriate option. But its own inspection reports describe the structure as fair, presenting no significant risk to the public. Those developing the Alnwick Greenway are clear about the potential consequences.
That would be the end of the walkway, wouldn't it? You can't walk through concrete. It would be wanton destruction and, frankly, completely unjustifiable simply to save a few £1,000s. But look, heritage cannot be replaced. But now that we have this greenway proposed, and a lot of support, by the way, across the area, this is not just a few people with a good idea, this has got a lot of support locally. I think it would be such a shame if that were to happen. So we've taken as much action as we possibly can to prevent that.
Dialogue continues around the future of many of the threatened structures. A senior Highways England manager recently told an MP that the company had no plans to infill or demolish any bridge where there is a known or anticipated need for it to be retained. The HRE group views that comment with scepticism, but political pressure is certainly being brought to bear on Highways England. The prospect of sustainable transport schemes being scuppered by a government-owned company calls government policy into question. But more importantly, it causes understandable anxiety amongst communities who see a better future being pulled from under them.